starvation mode does not exist. If you're not losing weight, you are probably not in a calorie deficit. But people say, oh, Harry, I'm eating 1,500 calories, I'm not losing weight. I say, well, you're either not eating 1,500 calories or you need to eat less. Calories in versus calories out. And the people who actually tell you otherwise are usually trying to sell you something, or usually trying to lie and promote controversy because you know it sells. Michelle McDaniel, and why fat acceptance keeps getting hit with reality and facts. Bit of a controversial video today. This is going to kind of rustle a few feathers and potentially maybe tickle some pickles, but also maybe not tickle a few pickles as well. Because we're going to talk about something that is kind of commonly requested, not only being Michelle McDaniel, but also fat acceptance and health at every size. These are topics that often get sent to me saying, Harry, can you discuss this? And quite frankly, I've avoided doing so because it's quite a slippery slope and it's quite a muddy area to kind of discuss. But you know what? We're going to do it because I feel like there are some things that need to be said, and I'm just going to give my opinion. And if that opinion aligns with yours, or you're actually interested in my opinion in future, I'd really appreciate it if you did click the red button down below to subscribe to the channel.
And so what I puzzled together is that Jordan is on a liquid calorie, refined carb, high fat, low protein type diet. Probably the worst kind that can lead to obesity, diabetes, cancer.
Health at every size is to essentially indicate that you can be healthy regardless of what size you are at, be that exceptionally underweight or exceptionally overweight. We're going to get to that shortly, but what we are going to kind of ponder a few things is, in my belief anyway, there can be too much of most things. When you take anything to the extreme, you are putting your body at risk. Let's give some examples here. So bodybuilders, for example, professional bodybuilders who are taking mass amounts of performance enhancing drugs, loads and loads of steroids, injecting loads of testosterone into their body, are putting themselves at greater risk because, again, you're looking at cardiovascular problems, kidney, liver, so many problems, and a lot of people unfortunately do lose their life because of it. Quite a few of these steroids are actually prescribed in medicine. If you have low testosterone, you may be prescribed testosterone replacement therapy to bring your levels back up to the reference range of whatever that might be. But if you take too much of it, it's probably going to be a bit problematic. If you're severely underweight and it's becoming a concern due to potential organ issues and mental health concerns, whatever it may be, you're probably going to be told by the doctor to eat more and to gain weight. Fantastic. Can put you in a healthier position because you're at a healthier body weight, whatever you deem that to be. But if you keep going and you go to the extreme, are you then not exposing your body to potentially greater stresses which could contribute to health complications? We'll use a car analogy here. You can drive your car casually down the motorway, the freeway, the highway, whatever you want to call it. Let's say your rev limiter is 7,000 RPM, so that's when it hits the red line. You're driving along about 3,000 RPM. You're probably okay. You're probably not going to do mass amounts of damage to the car. Wear and tear over time, we get it. But if you floor it and you're on that red line constantly, 7,000 RPM, bing, 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 bouncing off the limiter, eventually something's going to blow. The same thing applies with hormones. If you're injecting testosterone and you're in that reference range, you're hovering at 3,000 RPM. If you go super physiological, which is outside of that reference range, you're bouncing off the limiter, and you can only do that for so long before something bites you. If you're in a position where you're severely underweight and you need to gain a bit of weight, you can gain some to put you in that kind of 3,000 RPM range again. Good, like a steady, sustainable, consistent number. But if you keep going, those revs are going to go up and the stress on that body is going to potentially increase, and before you know it, you're bouncing off the limiter. And how long can that last for? Maybe your car's very reliable, it could handle that for a long time, but not every car is built the same. Some cars can't handle that for a long time. Some cars actually have some pretty severe engine failures pretty quickly. Am I saying you can't be healthy every size? We'll get to that shortly. I've got to slip in there. Today is the last day to enter the TFNL raffle, so if you want a chance to win 2 months free online coaching with me, a free program written by me, or even your workout guide order refunded, all you have to do is head to the tfnl.uk website, acquire one of the guides, and if you use code WAFFLE, you get 15% off. Immediately, you're thrown into the draw. And like I said, today is the last day, so you know what? The juices best be flowing, the pickles best be tickling. And if you're bored, you can also sign up to the mailing list, which can be found at the bottom of the website.
Now, even though Jordan didn't flat out say, health at every size, my obese body is healthy or my favorite, I actually don't eat. Ever. My body's actually starving while she gouges down a whole carton of 2% milk and a pile of cheese. We all know who did that, right? Oh yeah, the people in the back who keep rotting their brain and not subscribing. It's Tess Holiday. Again, Tess Holiday said that, and the community just took it in and said, yeah, totally. Your body's definitely starving.
We're going to debunk a common fitness myth here, starvation mode. That ponders the idea that if you eat too fewer calories, that instead of losing weight, you actually go beyond deficit, and your body as a protective mechanism will actually go to gaining weight. You're actually eating so few calories, you're in starvation mode, and you're going to start gaining mass amounts of fat. I'm going to say this as carefully as I can. And I really want you to think about this, and I really hope offence isn't taken here. When adverts come on of people who are in mass poverty, really upsetting adverts to see, when they're in mass poverty and they are literally going days and days without food, and it's horrendously awful to see. How many of these people who are not eating for days, who are actually genuinely starving, how many of them are gaining weight because of their starvation mode? How many of them are overweight? By default, if starvation mode existed, for those who are actually starving, it should apply to them because, again, by theory, they should go beyond deficit and into weight gain. But they're not. Starvation mode does not exist. Sadly, the fundamentals are, and this is actually really hard to accept for a lot of people, but it's true. It is 2 + 2. If you're not losing weight, and this will apply to 99% of the world, unless there's like a medical consideration that could lead to this, you are probably not in a calorie deficit. But people say, oh, Harry, I'm eating 1,500 calories, I'm not losing weight. I say, well, you're either not eating 1,500 calories or you need to eat less. Is that healthy? By no means I'm saying that that's healthy. I'm just saying it is just simple as calories in versus calories out. And the people who actually tell you otherwise are usually trying to sell you something, or usually trying to lie and promote controversy because you know it sells. Yes, there are certain medical conditions that could make this harder. These medical conditions, which I know people are going to reference in the comments, and I can think of two immediately that will come to light, do not impact your metabolism as much as you think. The couple of big things that come to mind there are going to be PCOS. It inherently very much influences insulin sensitivity and resistance, which doesn't inherently massively change your metabolism, but for a lot of people it will mean that you experience hunger to a greater extent. Therefore, although on paper calories in versus calories out still applies, it may be harder for you because you might feel a lot hungrier than the average person might, which inherently does make it more difficult, but it doesn't manipulate or alter your metabolism as much as you think. But then someone else will jump up in the comment section and say, but Harry, I've got an underactive thyroid, I can't lose weight. Guess what? I have an underactive thyroid too. I've just finished a deficit period where I've dropped down about 6 kilos and I was on 3,700 calories. I lost 6 kilos on 3,700 calories because my calorie intake needs to be so high due to activity, due to how much I weigh, muscle mass and all those things. Most medical conditions do not impact your metabolism as much as you think they do. And no, this does not apply to all of them. I'm not saying everyone with PCOS is like this or everyone with an underactive thyroid is like this. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying for a lot of people, it probably doesn't apply as much as you think it does. With me, underactive thyroid, who's someone in theory who should gain weight very easily, I consume anywhere from about 4,500 to 5,500 calories a day to gain weight, depending on what's going on. Just maybe I'm an anomaly.
Jordan would go on to take a break from social media, only to return to post a video that had her fan base in shock.
Hi, my name's Jordan. I'm 25, and being fat led me to having cancer.
Yeah, Jordan, the funny fat woman flipping people off and eating McChickens and sodies, got hit with the reality.
This is now where the health in every size topic comes in. Can you be healthy at every size? I'm going to say, I don't know. Will you be healthy at every size? No. Weight, be that muscle mass, fat mass, whatever it is, weight can be a big indicator of health to an extent. If you weigh a lot, you have massive amounts of muscle mass, you're 300 pounds shredded bodybuilder, and your body fat percentage is a healthy number, regardless, you weigh a lot. You are heavy. Your body is under a lot of stress to move that, to function, to pump all the bits it needs to pump around that body. It's going to be working bloody hard. So that might lead to some health complications. If you're 300 pounds with no muscle mass and an exceptionally high body fat, you weigh a lot. The body's going to be under a lot of stress. It's going to have to pump a lot of stuff around that. It's going to have to work really hard to move that. It's not necessarily just fat or muscle, it's weight. Weight can be a big indicator of health. Will it definitely? Absolutely not. Let's give an example of an individual I've worked with before. A young woman in her 20s. She was exceptionally underweight, diagnosed with eating disorders. She's weighing about 5'9". I don't know what that is in centimetres, maybe like 160, I'm guessing, maybe more. And she's weighing the low end of 40 odd kilos. That's what's that in pounds? 90 pounds, maybe? How can somebody say that's healthy? Not just physically. There were some concerns occurring there, but also mentally and emotionally. That's not a great example of health at every size. I've worked with people who are the other end of the spectrum, who have a tremendous amount of health complications that are commonly linked to being heavily overweight. And I'm not saying being over fat, I'm just saying overweight. Again, weight could be muscle mass, it could be fat mass, so many things. Will you be healthy at every size? I don't think so, because you can't give certainty. Can you be healthy at every size? I'm unsure. I think you can be healthy at many sizes, but I don't know if you can be healthy at every size. Can you be healthy when you're genuinely starving? Which is a size? Can you be healthy when you're exceptionally overweight and weighing 1,000 pounds? Which again is a size that falls into the any size motion. And no, I'm not saying that the reason this person got unwell is because they were. I'm simply stating that because they might have been overweight, that could have contributed to things that might have developed into an illness. Again, it's not necessarily the cause, but it could be a contributing factor.
I don't know if you can read that. 414. My starting weight was 465. So I am officially down my first 50 pounds.
Did I scare you guys? Were you rolling your eyes? Come on, you can tell me. You were rolling your eyes. I know I was when I was watching this until I got to the end. She also didn't eat the whole mound of nachos.
This is all I ate.
So I know many of you might be saying, she needs to change all of that. She needs to grill the chicken. No carb, no more Starbucks, no sugar, no cheese, no chip, no happiness. You've gotta struggle. Yeah, some of the diets that some personal trainers would put her on, she will quit.
That's such a relevant factor, is that when you're trying to gain weight, to lose weight, whatever it might be, you do not need to sacrifice your happiness and just become miserable doing so. You can lose weight eating fast food. You can gain weight eating chicken, broccoli and rice. Again, it's about finding something that you can remain consistent with. Diet A, you can't eat anything you like. You hate your food, but you get the results in 8 weeks. Diet B, you can eat some of the things you like. You can enjoy food. You can socialize and go out for dinner with your friends, but it's going to take you 16 weeks. On paper, you would say Diet A would get there faster. And on paper, you'd be correct. If you can't stick to Diet A and you quit after 4 weeks, would Diet A actually get you faster if it never actually got you there? And although Diet B would take you 16 weeks, but you could actually stick to it, I'd actually argue that Diet B would get you there faster because it's the only one that actually got you there. If you can't stick to what you're doing, it's not going to work for you. The best diet, the best workout plan, the best anything is the one you can remain most consistent with that aligns with your goals. It might take a bit longer, but I guarantee you'll be a little bit happier in the process. And quite frankly, I'd rather take a few extra weeks if it means I can actually enjoy myself, have fun, because not only am I still achieving my goals at a more sustainable rate, I can actually do things as well. I can hang out with my friends. I can have a laugh. I can do things. I can explore and live. Regardless of what you're trying to achieve, it's got to be sustainable. Because if it's not, you won't stick to it. Therefore, by default, you probably won't achieve it. I'm going to flip around slightly. And if you left an angry comment before getting this far, shame on you. Do I think anybody should be shamed because of their body? No. Categorically, whether you agree with them, disagree with them, whether they're very underweight, very overweight, should you shame anybody? No. I don't think shaming is right. I think it's exceptionally unfair. I think it's exceptionally harmful. And quite frankly, whether you agree with it or not, and whether it angers you or not, it is their body, their choice. Do I think you should embrace and accept who you are if it's who you want to be? Absolutely. Absolutely go for it. You know what? If you're happy, who am I to tell you to change? It's not my place. If you're unhappy, I think it's your responsibility to try and do something about that. But should you label with certainty that if you are this, you are that? No. If you're fat, if you're overweight, you are unhealthy. No. If you're at a sustainable body fat percentage, you work out, you're very active, you're XYZ, you must be healthy. No. Again, you don't. There are so many variables to consider there. You cannot say for certain that somebody is something. They may be more likely to be, but they are not necessarily definitively that. I'm not healthy. Externally, you look at me and be like, you must be a healthy guy. No, I'm not. Look at my blood test results. Am I unhealthy? Not necessarily, but my thyroid hormones are all over the shop, hence the underactive thyroid. My cholesterol is not particularly great, and a few other bits and bobs. Again, is it a massive cause for concern? No, but for me to consider myself truly healthy, surely I would have none of those concerns in the first place. So no, I'm not healthy, but I understand that the cholesterol issue, for example, might be a byproduct of something that I am doing, probably dietary related, but I'm okay with that. I'm okay acknowledging and accepting that I'm not as healthy as I could be, because to fulfill this kind of gap of health, I think to do so, I would actually steer away from my goals. And at the end of the day, these are my goals because they're what I want to achieve, not what you think I should achieve. So filling this gap of health might steer me away from my goals, but also filling this gap of health might actually negatively impact my happiness and the sustainability when considering my likelihood of achieving health or goals. So although I may not be as healthy as I could be, and although I may not be deemed to be healthy by many, I'm okay with that because it's my body, it's my goals, and it's my choice. I don't expect anybody to shame me for doing that. I don't expect anybody to shame me for saying that. Just like I wouldn't shame anybody else, because again, it's not my battle to fight. Your body, your choice, do what's best for you, for you. If you're happy, it's sustainable, and you can understand the risks of what you're doing, as I do, I'm okay with that. Again, I'm not going to pretend there aren't risks associated with what I'm doing. That would be a lie. I'm not going to lie to you. There are many. but I've weighed up the risks. I've weighed up the rewards. The rewards, in my opinion, for me, outweigh those risks. And that's okay with me. I've made peace with that. But again, just my opinions, just my thoughts. To be honest, I'd actually love to hear yours because it's a pretty interesting topic to talk about. Regarding Michelle McDaniel, I don't really know enough about her to give an opinion. I mean, I've seen this video. I haven't seen any others, so we'll see. But regardless, thank you for tolerating me. Thank you for tolerating a very long waffle today. And thank you for tolerating the video.